A French tank, the Saint-Chamond, making its way over some trenches. And what is this? Snow, perhaps? If so, this would be very welcome indeed. And judging by yesterday's live stream again from, from LA, that Level Cap and other famous YouTubers have played right there. Um, they have real-time weather, and once the rain came on, and it was really cool to see how it the water droplets kind of accumulated on top of the gun. And what's interesting is that it also kind of plays tricks with your vision. It kind of shortens your um, the distance that you can see, the draw distance and everything. And I'd also be very interested to see how it plays with the sniper scopes, and maybe warps the view a little bit, as that would be really cool. I guess it would look awesome. I don't know how it would actually play. Another British tank climbing over some trenches. Here we see two fighter planes duking it out. One is a German, we're all too familiar with by now, the Fokker DR-1. I think DICE is keen on showcasing this fighter as much as they can in trailers and artwork, not only because it's cool and recognizable, but also because of the Red Baron pre-order bonus. A really cool shot here. A lot of things going on. A bombing raid on London, obviously. We can see a German Zeppelin coming out of the clouds, flanked by fighter cover of the Fokker TR-1s. Everyone at it, just having fun, a fun old time, bashing each other's brains in, shovels, clubs, bayonets. Everyone's welcome to this party. I wonder if we're gonna have Gunmaster or just a melee close quarter bloody game mode. That mechanic, the bayonet charge mechanic that we saw in the Battlefield 1 live stream yesterday, was pretty fun. It really was pretty interesting to see, because when Jack Frags or someone like that press the bayonet charge button, you could see the character kind of lock on into that rage tunnel mode, and he basically rushed ahead, charged ahead with his bayonet. And what's interesting about it is that the bayonet mode, during it, you can't really choose different weapons or cancel it, and you have to wait, run that charge until it's done. But and it's obviously limited. If at the end you haven't killed him, your scream, charge would probably alert the enemy. But what's interesting is you could obviously be killed during this charge, as you're pretty much defenseless. But I'm thinking to balance this, DICE may have, I don't know, they may have increased the resistance, maybe the armor, maybe the health during this charge of the player, so he wouldn't get killed right away. I mean, I don't know, I'd have to play the game to see, but it is really cool. Alright, so here is a British soldier getting whacked by a German one with yet another variation of a melee weapon. World War I was a close-up, bloody and savage affair. He's carrying the Lee Medford rifle, though I doubt it's for very long. This is an interesting only in battlefield type moment. A fighter comes in low over a moving train, where the gunner attempts to nail a British infantryman on its roof. Quite interesting turn of events. Also, there are mortars hanging on the side of the airplane, as these were dropped manually onto trenches below, and you can probably guess why. Here we see a fun little shot of a fighter, which is a Hanover CO3 biplane passing right next to a guy in a balloon basket. Now, this is an interesting shot, because an interesting artwork, I should say, because it isn't actually a barrage balloon, because they were generally unmanned. I mean, that was their purpose. It's sort of to be sort of tied to the ground with hard to see cables that killed off the airplane's engine, as it entangled in the propeller and pretty much sliced the wings off. Maybe, obviously, they were made. They made low flying bombing impossible, but this isn't it. this I think is an artillery correction post, you see. And this was actually a very well, this job requires guys to have bows of titanium, because going up in a balloon like this was basically suicide, you see. These guys were basically defenseless stationary targets, just sitting there, you know, relaying artillery coordinates to the guys on the ground through a telephone, which stretched a cable all the way to the ground post. And you know, they didn't even have a parachute, and needless to say, they were prime targets for fighters, because a well-placed artillery barrage could cost, you know, hundreds if not thousands of enemy lives, so they were prime targets for the enemy. Alright, so here's a nice shot of a pilot gliding down on a parachute, taking pot shots at passing fighters with his sidearm 45. Does this mean that every player in Battlefield 1 will have parachutes, or just pilots? Because, you know, this mechanic is so ingrained in the Battlefield franchise, that I'm having a hard time believing DICE would ever be able to steer clear of it. Alright, so here's the flamethrower guy going ham, and you know, the scenery around him is just intense. I'm so hard right now just thinking of all the wonderful visual things that DICE could come up with here, you know, as to make the flamethrower a standout weapon. You know, particles, thick smoke, heat distortion, all sorts of little things flying through the air that would surely make it an eye-gasm to see. Alright, so this scene struck me as very Saving Private Ryan type scene, where German fighters come in low over a European city, and this guy scopes in and takes a shot at an enemy officer. Maybe a K98 rifle. Well, in any case, his pose is one of a careful, patient operator, and I'm wondering if we're gonna see in this element to the game mechanics, if you're a sniper, you know, you can take a seat and put your rifle on something or hold on to it like this guy is. But whatever the mechanics, I very much hope DICE is going to show some love to the snipers in Battlefield 1, because sniper gameplay in Battlefield 4 is just super unsatisfying, at least for me. And you know, snipers are made even worse by the scope glare, which completely wrecks the purpose of any sort of stealth gameplay, I think. And that's supposed to be, you know, that class's very thing that it does, its purpose. So taking away its purpose, I think, is a bad thing. Now, sorry that this video has dragged on forever, and I have been kind of going on and on forever about these artworks that are very inconsequential to the actual game. And if you were brave enough to still to the end, here's a tea and crumpet, British style, with milk, and it's all good and junk. So thanks for watching. Please rate and share this video, it helps my channel grow. Check out my other videos at the end of this one, and remember, in Soviet Russia, YouTube subscribes you.